Oh, hello! Welcome to Hades! That's hell in a toga.
God Mode. Seems like a cool game. If you've actually checked out the trailer, it just came out on Steam recently, and you'd think it'd be fun. It kind of looks like a survival horror arena shooter, up to 4 people playing together in co-op. You're fighting off the bad guys, you got swarms of them coming in at you. Seems like it'd be great, right? Well, we have this guy in our group, Siggy, right? This is him. And occasionally we'll buy each other games. Well, this time around he bought a 4-pack. He bought a 4-pack for himself, Hack, Jules, and myself. And we were going to get together tonight and play this amazing game. This game we saw the trailer for and we were hyped for it. We thought, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be a good game. So he dropped, I think it was $40. $35-$40 for the 4-pack. And it unlocks and we play it. And so there we are. We jump into the game. We're all excited. We're fucking around with the menus and the options. We haven't really checked out the community discussion page. We haven't really heard anything on Metacritic. We didn't really look into it. We were just, we're going to go in guns blazing. Fuck it. Because that's how we roll. That's how we video. And so we jump into it and we start playing. And that's when we start to have trouble. So I'm just going to put this out here. This is going to be me bitching about this fucking game. If that doesn't interest you, that's cool. Don't listen to it. I've got another video that's going to be coming out in like a day or something. That was what I was planning on putting up this weekend. But this actually pissed me off legitimately for a couple of reasons. And I can't... it's mostly with the dumb fuckers on the community page. It just blows my mind. If you were around... You know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting flustered already. I'm going to put up some video so you can see what the game looks like while I'm talking about it. Okay, I recorded this earlier. All right, this is me playing it. So you can make your own judgment. All right, I'm playing it legit. I'm not goofing around, fucking around to make it look bad. It actually, when you look at it, it looks like a very nice game. It does. It's very it's a good looking game, and it looks fun too. When we saw the trailer, that's what interested us. We're like, holy shit, there's like a lack of really good co-op games out there. And so anyone that comes along, we're always interested in jumping to, and it's usually the same fucking shit. It's a racing game or a fighting game or a shooter. So this was, again, similar. It's a shooter, but it's third person. And so we're like, fuck it. It's we're looking for a gauntlet substitute, and this was the closest fucking thing we could get to for now. So we're like, we're all psyched. So let me get this bad boy ready to run here. Get this fucker going. So this game is, I believe, published by Atlas, and it was developed by Old School Games. And I'll get to those fuckers later. So here we go. This is God Mode for the PC. I'm playing this. Obviously got it through Steam. All right, we're in the game. So like I said, as you can see, it's a fairly decent looking game. Do a little melee attack, flailing around like an idiot. Just trying to show off a few things. You can do rolls and running. Basic shit you'd expect in third person. Kind of zoom in a little bit. You got 2 weapons, primary, secondary. I've got a shotgun and an Uzi. You look, you've got health and a shield displayed in the upper left-hand corner. Upper right-hand corner shows you your weapon selected, its ammo. And the little bar above that's a rage meter. Essentially, you fill it up by killing enemies, and then you can activate an ability. So here's how the game's structured. You walk into an area, an arena, and it tells you the, the modifiers for what's going to happen. And each little area you go into, that glowing statue, will tell you kind of what's going to happen. And then the enemies flood in, and you're shooting them, and it's a fucking good time. Look at them all exploding, little XP popping above their head. And here's really where my complaint kind of starts with this game. Like I said, as you can see, it looks like fun. And with more people, you have more enemies. It's a little more hectic. Oh, by the way, that's the rage ability I have, which is basically just heals myself. You can see a little red aura around my character, and it will constantly regenerate his health. So even if I take damage, it lasts longer, and you can upgrade that later on. I'll kind of show that off. But the game, it's structured simply. There are pickups everywhere. They're color-coded. Red heals your health, blue restores your shield, and green gives you ammo. So anyway, it looks like a good game. It looks like it's fun. It's hectic. You got enemies coming in from every direction. You got more people. You might be running for a pickup, and your friend steals it, and you're gonna kick his ass later for it. Whatever. It seems like it'd be fun, and it would be. But this is one of those games where its potential is just, it's never realized. It's just this huge fucking letdown. And it kind of starts in this first level. This is the first one you can select. another way of putting that would be level 1 of 5, because there are only 5 levels. That's all you get in this game. Now, I'm used to games having a short structure. One of the games I recently played with a couple of my friends, and it was really good, even though it had glitches, even though it, it had its issues, was Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army. That was a fun game. Granted, it had a limited amount of levels, and it was similar kind of in structure. It's this horde mode, you're taking on all these enemies. That was fun. Those levels were long. That's kind of what, that was the trade-off. Yeah, you only had a few levels, but they were sort of long, and so it was enjoyable. This game, on the other hand, feels really short. This first level, when we first went through it, when we first, did our first run-through, whatever, it took, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes. And that's about the same amount of length you're going to run into with each other level. In total, when we played this game, from start to finish, it took us 2.5 hours. And that was with us fucking around and taking breaks to go get snacks or whatever, and checking out loadouts and equipment and everything else. I mean, really, when you get down to like brass tacks, when you look at how long we played this game for, we played it for 2 hours. That's it. Now, you might be saying, well, it's an arena shooter, or it's a it's a survival game, and part of the enjoyment, and this is some of the shit I was hearing on the community page. Part of the enjoyment of this game is grinding. You replay that level over and over and over and over again, and you get new abilities and you get new items, and that may be true. That could be fun, and in some games that really does work, but not in this one. And the reason it doesn't work in this one is there are no branching paths, there's no alternatives, there are no secrets. It is what it is. The first time you play it, it's going to be the fucking same as the last time you play it. It doesn't change, it doesn't vary. If you set it on a higher difficulty level, you're going to have tougher enemies. That's about it. We played through on the bronze setting, which is bitch tier, I admit. That's the easy setting, right? We tried the first time, I think. We played for like 5 minutes, we did silver, and we just ate through the lives, right? And again, this goes back to what the community page was saying. A couple people on there were saying, oh, well, no, you got to ratchet up the difficulty, and that's what makes it enjoyable to play through. But I think there was like a miscommunication when I'm talking to these people on this fucking community page. It's not that I don't enjoy a difficult game. I don't enjoy, oh, that's fucking cigar, by the way. That I don't enjoy, like a difficult game, a tough game. I do. They're fun. But what's the point of replaying this? I'm not going to fucking see anything different. And again, I can't explain it. I can't explain why I liked Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army and I don't like this fucking game. But I don't. It looks good. The enemies are cool. It seems like it could be really great. But it feels like a letdown from the start to the finish. It feels like they cut corners and they thought, you know what, fuck it, it's good enough. You know how many boss fights are in this game? 3. There are 5 levels, there are 3 boss fights. The last fucking level you play, in order, if you started from the beginning to the last, there's no boss fight. It's a 10-minute level, you run to the end, and that's it, game over. No cutscene, no, way to go, good job on you, just that's it, done. And to me, it feels like a big fuck you to the player. I don't like this trend recently, and I've noticed this over the last couple of years, of ultra-short games, with no real, emphasis on replayability. And that's somehow excused. When I went to the community forums and I'm talking about this, the answers I'm getting are just mind-boggling. And don't get me wrong, I played indie games, I played short games, and I can be content with that. One example I can think of is To the Moon. Yeah, it's just fucking RPG Maker looking game. I was fine with that. It was a good game. It had a nice narrative, it wrapped itself up, and, I got what I expected. And I'm not bitching because it doesn't have replayability, because I'm not expecting it. But with this kind of game, I expect it. With this kind of game, I expect there to be something to keep me coming back. This just feels like it was lazily done. And that blows my mind, because when you look at it, you've got these the perspective on these environments. They look huge, they look nice. You've got enemies that are just rushing at you. It looks like everything's there to make a great game, except for the length, except for the levels, except for the bosses. I can't understand, from a development standpoint, why you would create levels that don't have a capstone to them. Why you would have 3 boss fights but not 5 if you have 5 levels. That doesn't make sense to me. Why would the last level you play, which I think is Basilisk Pit, why would that be, 10 to 15 minutes long, and then that's it, done, game over? That just feels like a slap in the face. And I can't understand the mentality that people who defend that and say, no, you don't understand. You have to play this game on every difficulty setting. You have to beat it completely, max out every single thing you have, and then you can bitch about it. Fuck you! Fuck you, man. Why would I do that? That's my complaint in the first place. There's nothing drawing me back into this. And again, I've played games like it. One of the more recent ones, like I said, was Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army. I had a blast with that. We played the shit out of that over and over and over again. And it felt more polished. The levels were longer. It had, even for an arena shooter, I get it, who gives a shit about the story, but it just felt like they gave a little bit more of a fuck. And that thing, man, it had problems. It had technical issues and what have you, but it was fun, and it had a kind of pull to it that made you want to go back and play it again. This game just feels so quick. It feels like, here are 4 or 5 locations, pop through your portal, get to them, kill everything there, maybe fight a boss if you're lucky, and then that's it, game over. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that. How you could put this much effort into a game to make it look like this, to come up with the enemy variety that you have, and this concept of modifiers, and then not put the actual fucking effort into creating levels that feature that and show it off. Why create all these assets and not use them? That boggles my fucking mind. Why have 5 levels and only 3 bosses? Why are there not 5 fucking capstone fights to each of those levels? It would make sense. That would seem to make sense to me. This last level that you're going to and there's nothing there. That blows my fucking mind. You go do your gold rush. At the end of each level, essentially what happens, whether there's a boss or not, is you go through a gold portal, and then you have a little area you can run around for anywhere from, I believe, 20 seconds to a minute and a half to pick up gold to spend on gear that you're going to upgrade later on. But, I don't get it. Going to this community page and listening to these people defend this, especially when there were other threads there talking about technical issues. Now, I get it. A game launches, it's going to, occasionally have issues. But there were a lot of people complaining, saying they couldn't even get it running, and trying to kind of tackle and figure out, well, okay, what exactly is going on here? And a lot of the fucking snarky little replies that were coming from people were just, I don't understand it. The replies they were getting made it seem like the people responding had some personal stake in the fucking development. People were saying, I can't get the game running. And the response they got was, oh, well, who fucking cares, man? That's your problem. Doesn't mean anything. It's not the developer's fault. Well, I would tend to think it might be the developer's fault if you have a bunch of people complaining about it. When I created this, I created a thread basically asking, hey, is there anything else, right? Are there any other branching paths? Are there any other bosses? Is there any variety? What would entice me to replay this again? Kind of what's there? No answer. And instead what I got was, you can't criticize this, it's indie, and they fell back on this defense, like somehow that excuses them. Oh, they're independent, or oh, it's a smaller game, or oh, it's only $10, so you shouldn't expect quality? What? What kind of argument is that? I just don't get it, man. I just do not get it. You know what? I'm going to skip ahead a little bit in the footage here and show you at least what the boss fight looks like on this first level. And so when you take all this into account, when you take into account the attitudes and the ideas that were presented on the Steam Community Hub by gamers, or the short length of this game in general, when you add all that up, I feel displaced. I've been gaming for, 2 decades now, 20 years. It's a hobby I love. I've always enjoyed gaming. It's something I find fun, I enjoy it. But it just seems like the attitudes today of gamers, of the consumer, is that everything is permissible, everything is acceptable. If a game is unpolished, if it's broken, if there are glitches, that's fine. If it's unfinished, if they cut corners, that's fine. If there's restrictive DRM that ruins the experience and makes it difficult for an actual legitimate purchaser to play the game, that's understandable. If there's 482 pieces of DLC, that's just Capcom. It's like people in general there's no pushback anymore. Everything is acceptable. Everything's permissible. You have no right to complain about anything. And so I look at this game that's 2.5 hours to complete, and I'm asking myself, why would I want to play it again? What entices me to come back and play this? Sure, the enemies might be a little more tough. Sure, I could put some modifiers on my gun. I might get a new, a mask to wear. But those are empty, shallow things. Those don't add really to the gameplay. I'd rather have 10 more levels than 14 heads I can put on my character. I would rather have 5 more boss fights than, 2 more weapons. I want something that's going to extend the experience. I want something that is tangible, that I can sink my teeth into to really enjoy. So when I get together with a group of friends and we're gonna fuck around for an evening, it actually ends up being an evening of gaming, not a 2-hour interlude where we just go through the motions of fighting an enemy here or there. Like I've said, I've played games like this before, where you're dealing with hordes of enemies, where the maps are segregated into chunks. Recent ones like Sniper Elite or Syndicate. And even those felt more polished. And my god, they had so many problems to them. But this game, I hate this feeling of, here's all this potential, here are all these art assets and, enemy types that never got utilized, that never got used. And so I'm expected to say, well, that's acceptable. It was only $10. Oh, why should I complain? Oh, this is the Gold Rush I was talking about. This is how the game ends, by the way. No boss fight, so there wouldn't be a giant minotaur, but the very last stage you play, 10 minutes long, 15 minutes long, and then you go right into this and it ends, and that's it. And you're just expected to change the difficulty setting and do it again. There's just nothing pulling me back in. I can't stand it. And so, we got done playing this, and I was like, I was talking to the people I played it with, and I was like, I can't, this game sucks, I'm really pissed off. I feel like I got bamboozled, I feel a little fucked over. Well, not me personally. Cigar was the one who dropped fucking money on this, so he got bamboozled. But somebody pulls up a trailer, and they're like, oh, you've got to see this. This is a behind-the-scenes look at the people who developed this. These are the people that made this fucking game. And it's almost comical how stereotypical and cliche this really ends up being. So I'm gonna cut from this, I'm gonna go over to that, because you have to see this.
Hi, I'm Katerina, and welcome to Old School Games.
This is the most cliche shit I've ever seen. It's like a hipster convention was held in their fucking offices and they accidentally filmed that rather than do a tour and show people that actually worked there. You got the one guy with those spacer tribal earrings wedged into his fucking earlobes like a retard. You got, black rimmed glasses and everybody's all hipster chic. It's like Reddit came to life and decided to live in Old School Games fucking studio facilities. But it gets better. Oh god, when they talk. I love how they talk.
Most downloadable games look like they could be played on the phone, and we wanted to do more than that. We want people who play our game to get a visual experience that compares with the stuff they buy in stores.
I don't know if he's trying to sell me a video game or a plutonium-tipped nuclear missile. What the fuck am I listening to? It's Gregory here. He seems like he's like a fucking slave trader. It's just that voice and, these fucking Czechoslovakians making video games. This is fucking War Z all over again. It's worse than that, because they're all hipsters. You add, Eastern European and fucking hipster together and you get God mode. And it's just like, lights went off. I suddenly understood. I mean, look at this fucking guy in his little fucking scarf. Really, he looks like he's trying to audition for a boy band, rather than, fucking One Direction, rather than make a video game. They're just, it's almost like they're putting on, they got into video games for the fashion sense. I don't fucking get that. That's really weird. But it's just, they all seem like fucking posers to me. Yeah, I look through the Wikipedia page to see what they've previously done, and, it's a subsidiary company of Saber Interactive, whatever. But the games they have to their list are, such classics as Battle Los Angeles. That was a gem. Time Shift. That's another great game. Oh, Inversion. That's another fun one too. So I don't know. Maybe I'm out of my fucking mind. Maybe I'm just old and I just don't like video games anymore. Maybe this is how video games are supposed to be. Short and unsatisfying. No replayability, and if you say anything, you're faggot. I just don't get it. I expect more. Expect better. I wasn't expecting the world, I get it. It's an independent title, sure. It's a $10 title, sure. They have budgetary constraints, they have time constraints, that's understandable. But get the fuck out of here with this, half-assed 5 levels, 10-minute long things. I'm not going to play the same thing 482 fucking times. If I wanted to grind and be crazy, I'd play WoW. I'd be in an MMO, not in an arena shooter. If you want to draw people back in, you need to have levels that interest them enough to make them come back in. This modifier idea, at first glance it seems really good. And it is, it's kind of fun, it's neat. But I think they use that to cover up the lack of actual length to the game. Like, instead of having 40 levels, we'll instead have one level and 40 modifiers. You know, because then it's the same thing, right? Well, no. I don't want to walk through the same fucking hallway 92 times. I don't want to fight the same spawn of, 32 enemies precisely before I move on to the next portal. Well, so fuck it. I mean, that it is what it is. I think this game is lazily done. I think they cut corners. I think it had potential and they pissed it away. And I wouldn't be surprised if 5 months from now there's going to be a shit ton of DLC for it. And I wouldn't be surprised if people will just eat it up because they're desperate to shove as much shit down their face as they can and say how delicious it is. But I expect more from gaming, and I'm getting fucking tired of constantly getting fucked in the ass, of constantly being given short games, unsatisfying games, games that were promised to have certain features and don't, games that were promised to have certain potential and don't fulfill it, DRM and DLC, and what the fuck happened, man? What the fuck happened to video games?